Analyst. It's been a while since I actually did my live. I think part of the reasons why is I've been actually being more active over in TikTok, and if you guys want to actually hear my thoughts and market commentary, do join me over in TikTok. But at the same time, also right now I'm actually on YouTube, also doing my lives. So, and today's live is actually a long time coming already. So basically from the top, right? In today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about Grab, and we could see that the Grab stock price actually right now is hovering around the $3 region, right? Ever since it got listed, we saw the stock price actually move sideways, and then it went up to about $15. At $15, as many of you guys know, it just dropped to around the $6 to $7 region, right? And around the $6 and $7 region was when I first covered Grab, right? And then after that, it dropped down to the $3 region already, right? So in this episode, I want to talk a little bit about at $3 whether Grab is maybe a good time to actually buy that particular stock, right? So I guess to recap for the benefit of some of you guys, right? Number one, my first episode when talking about Grab, I talked a little bit about the business model. And in that particular episode, I talked a little bit about how getting a taxi or getting a cab over in Malaysia used to be a really painful process, right? Back in the day when I was a teenager, to try to get a cab, right? It was this process of walking out the house, going to the main road, right? And sometimes it could be 10 minutes if you're lucky enough. And sometimes it could be 30 minutes to an hour just to get a taxi. It was one of the more painful experiences growing up over in Malaysia, trying to catch a cab from one location to the next location. And as I mentioned in I guess my episode during December, say assuming if I want to go to the library, right? I want to borrow a book. To get the cab and move back and forth the library, to actually exchange and give back the book is only 10 minutes. But the travel back and forth probably take 1 or 2 hours. And that was really a pain point, right? Being over in Malaysia. But having said that, when Grab came into the market, it disrupted the way many of us take cabs, right? So Grab actually came up with this amazing solution, and lo and behold, we could see that it actually was so successful over Malaysia that eventually it went into the ASEAN region. So that's a little bit about Grab, their business model, and their track record. I can see the light. Let me just move a little bit over here so it's less distracting. Okay. And in the second episode, when I talked a little bit about Grab, this was where we talked a little bit about why Grab stock price from $15, it went down to, it actually dropped down to maybe $6 or $7 at that point in time in January, right? And I still remembered while talking about Grab, I talked a little, or we speculated, or we guessed as to why the stock price actually fell down, right? And I gave you guys some of my theories whereby the initial investors of the SPAC maybe would have cashed out after the merger was successful. And that's one of the reasons why at $15 we could see the stock price actually drop down, right? And that's I guess that was me trying to make sense of why there was a sell down on the stock, right? So that's what we talked a little bit on the second episode. Right now, we could see that Grab is actually at $3 already, right? And is it a good time for us to visit the particular stock? Just give me a second. So as of right now, Grab is at $3.42. $3.42. So is it a good time for us to actually look at the stock? Okay. So over here, I'm just going to give you guys just a full disclosure, right? That during December and during January, when I was talking about Grab, I had no holdings in the company whatsoever, right? With the simple reason being, I was looking at the stock, right? And at that point in time, in December, one of the reasons why I didn't want to buy into stocks at all. It was not that company specifically, but I just didn't want to buy any stocks. With the simple reason being that a lot of people has already, and a lot of analysts has already been talking about how expensive the markets were at that point in time. So I decided to take a conscious effort to not be in equities market in December, right? And yeah, so there were more downside risk, or there was a higher risk towards selling equities come January or February of this year, right? So that's one of the reasons why I did not touch any equity in December, in November whatsoever, right? And Grab was one of them, right? So I did not take a position in that particular stock back then, right? That was the first reason. The second reason was, as I mentioned to you guys, that Grab, if we look at the peers for the which does this ride e-hailing, right? I think Uber, so on and so forth, and Lyft, I think. Those were the two examples I gave. If you look at the price at IPO, right, it did not, after post-listing, the IPO price and the market price was pretty much very similar, right? So that was the second reason why I at that point in time I was a bit cautious. That was the second reason. And the third reason was, if you look at the net profit margins for a lot of technology company, especially during the growth phase, this is where they spend a lot of money towards marketing and trying to increase their market share at the expense of their net income, right? So let me repeat that again. So even though their revenues look really good, right? But when it comes to market acquisition, trying to get shares in other countries, trying to promote their services, what happens at the end of the day is that they do not make that much of profits, or they do not make any profits at all. This was where we see negative net income margins, right? So so as I was mentioning, at that point in time, I had zero stock holdings in the company. Having said that, however, right now with Grab being $3, right, I'm actually really considering looking at the stocks, and I'll give you my reasons why, right? Number one, if you look at Grab, back in the day when I was actually working in the financial institution space, right, I still remembered a lot of smart money was gravitating towards the Grab stock. A lot of fund managers actually like that particular stock, right? And there's this saying, follow the smart money. So when we talk about big institutions, right, they have all the resources to actually probe onto the stock, right? And they have actually they have a stake within the Grab stock, right? So so if you ask me why I want to enter the stock, number one, follow the smart money, right? And the second thing really is that, I wrote this down, hang on. Oh, okay. And the second thing as to why I actually want to enter into the Grab stock is that, as I mentioned to you, Grab has actually changed the way we catch a cab right now over here in Malaysia. They actually truly is solving a problem that many Malaysians used to face back in the day, right? So one of the reasons why businesses exist is to help solve the problems. And one of the problems that we Malaysians have back in the day was trying to catch a cab, right? And looking at how Grab actually moved from Malaysia into the ASEAN region, and on top of that, they are also looking towards getting, a banking license, right? A banking license. It's actually testament to how their imagination and how their track record towards growing their business, right? So I think moving forward, it's going to be a very interesting future for this company, right? Looking at the past, they have a really good track record towards building their business, and looking at the future, they have many plans towards expanding their business, right? If we use the past to actually predict what may happen in the future, it looks pretty okay if you ask me. So at this point in time, with Grab being, I guess at $3.40, I think for me it may be worth looking at this point in time. So okay, right. With that, I don't see that many people in the live session, partly because right now is almost 1 a.m. in the morning over in Malaysia. But be that as it may, do write, I guess, questions in the comment section, and we can have a discussion. With that, take care, guys, and have a good day.